नमस्कार। आप देख रहे हैं बिस्तक का खास शो। आज अदानी ग्रुप के ऊपर एक बड़ी डेवलपमेंट हुई। जब बाजार शुरू होने वाला था तो उससे जस्ट पहले अदानी ग्रीन की एनर्जी की ओर से एक स्टेटमेंट जारी हुई, स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे फाइल हुई, जिसमें अ, मुकुल रोहतगी, उन्होंने अदानी के ऊपर कुछ ऐसी स्टेटमेंट्स थी जिसका एक बड़ा असर पड़ता हुआ नजर आया। उन्होंने ये कहा कि रिश्वतखोरी के आरोपों से जुड़ी खबरें जो है वो निराधार हैं, गलत हैं। और मुकुल रोहतगी ने ये बोला कि आज जो ये अदानी ग्रुप के ऊपर यूएस में मामला चल रहा है, इसमें गौतम अदानी और सागर अदानी या विनीत जैन पर कोई भी रिश्वत का आरोप नहीं है। एफसीपीए के तहत आरोप लगाए जाने की खबरों में कोई भी सच्चाई नहीं है, वो निराधार हैं। और यूएस डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जस्टिस के प्रोसिक्यूशन में सिर्फ एज्योर और सीडीपीक्यू ऑफिशियल्स पर रिश्वतखोरी का आरोप है, लेकिन गौतम अदानी के ऊपर किसी भी तरीके का करप्शन या फिर न्याय के रास्ते में बाधा डालने का चार्ज नहीं लग सकता है। इस पे बात करने के लिए मेरे साथ पीआर रमेश, एडवोकेट, बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट केस में मौजूद हैं। सर, नमस्कार, स्वागत है आपका बिस्तक पे।
नमस्कार नमस्कार यार।
सर, जैसे मैंने कहा, इट वाज अ मेजर डेवलपमेंट टुडे। फॉर्मर अटॉर्नी
Yeah.
जनरल मुकुल रोहतगी सेड गौतम अदानी एंड हिज nephew Sagar Adani have not been charged with violation of US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in indictment filed by US prosecutors.
Yeah.
Mr. Rohatgi said that all news reports claiming Adani officials charge of bribery or corruption are incorrect. What is your view on this?
See, like what happens is his views are right because see what is happening. The U.S. Like no the U.S. prosecution, they have been investigating this matter and they have made a lot of allegations. Like typically it happens in India also. You make a lot of allegations when CBI is investigating. CBI will make a lot of allegations. So they will make allegations under the Penal Code, then under the Prevention of Corruption Act, like that. They will make various allegations against various people. Like that, what is happening? This jury, like not in that indictment, which is like a charge sheet. What they're saying is there are various allegations of bribery and all these things. All this have happened outside of the US. Okay. Plus, what they are telling is under the FCPA, Mr. Adani and Sagar Adani and these people have not been charged. Under, if you see the paragraph 125 is very clear that their name is not there. See, because under the FCPA, you can actually charge only the US persons and US entities. You cannot charge non-US person and non-US entities. So, though they are making allegations, so there can be no trial or no trial under the FCPA against Mr. Adani or anybody. So they are not charged. So if anybody is saying that they've been charged in the US, they will be tried in the US for bribery and all this is incorrect.
But can you explain the specific nature of these five counts or charges in this indictment? As per Mr. Rohitgi, count 1 and count 5 are more important than others. What are these count 1 and count 5? And what exactly are the charges against Gautam Adani and Adani Group officials?
Yeah, see what happens as I mentioned, no, like let us take an analogy in India. See what happens if there is a securities fraud violation or anything like that. So you will be charged under certain sections of this SEBI Act or under the like Economic Offences Act. There are various provisions you will charge, and they will charge against the Prevention of Corruption Act also. So like that in the US, the first count is about the bribery charge. So under the bribery charge to do a trial in the US, they are not been named there. So under the FCPA, they have not been charged. Similarly, under the like wire fraud, where you are trying to cheat by forgery and all those things, they have not been charged. But they have been charged for some violations of securities law. For instance, about that you did not make proper disclosures in your offering document, like the so this type of the 2, 3, 4 they have been charged because they relate to securities fraud. Securities fraud, anybody raising money in the US, you can be charged if you are a director or involved in the company. So we will have to see whether see for instance whether these people Mr. Gautam Adani or Sagar Adani, whether they have been directors in the company. I don't have that information, but assuming let us put it that they're as a director. See today what happens is when you raise money, see when they are raising bonds or they are raising secured loans and all, there you are engaging the top bankers, you are engaging the top lawyers and all. So all this, whatever is going on, the disclosure would have been there. Now whether it is there, it is insufficient and all. That is not actually when somebody is at a chairman level. It is not his personal lookout to see whether a document is written rightly. So in a worst to worst situation, in my view, the charge finally against Mr. Gautam Adani could be that he failed to supervise, or you did not have proper systems, process, and all. It can never be a criminal charge because I don't think at that level he would be directly involved in, like, no, don't do this disclosure and all that. I don't think that sort of a finally conclusion is possible. So what I'm trying to tell you is the two charges on the FCPA and the wire fraud, these are not against Mr. And Gautam Adani, Sagar Adani, and Vineet Jain because they are not. One is they are not US persons. They cannot be tried in the US for for any site of bribery and all. The other important thing is about, like, if you see the bribery charge, if you see that 120 paragraphs of various allegations they are making. So in those allegations, there are actually people in India. They're talking about certain Indian government officials, politicians, state government, and all those things. See, now the US courts don't have any jurisdiction to try any of the offenses committed inside India. So that is another important thing. The other very important thing, what I want to mention is that, say, like in India, this happens regularly. You must be knowing, like now the CBI and ED, they keep on filing charge sheet against so many people. They arrest so many people, even like prior to the trial starting. Okay, prior to trial starting, all these things happen in a regular basis. But the Companies Act doesn't disqualify any of them acting as a director. The most important thing is at the stage of a charge sheet or at the stage of allegations, the Companies Act does not prohibit somebody continuing. It doesn't disqualify somebody as acting as a director. So therefore, like I don't see like why so much of importance is being given. So of course, if there are some allegations, the proper method is to investigate. You come to some proper conclusion. The law will take its own course. But the charge of corruption cannot tried against Mr. Adani in the US because he is not a US person, and then that is one of the reasons the FCPA they have not charged him.
But in that charge sheet, there are allegations of 2029 crore rupees worth of briberies which were paid for power contracts.
Yeah.
Will there be a comprehensive internal investigations into these allegations, or what will the role of regulating agencies like SEBI in this case?
The SEBI will have no role to play in this. As you know, typically in India, what happens is, so these are all if there is a Prevention of Corruption Act, it is the CBI which will investigate. So SEBI has no authority. SEBI can only talk about like whether there is a proper disclosure being made to the exchange or not being made. Beyond that, or if there is any diversion of money and all that stuff. But see, all that SEBI can make an allegation only if there is some evidence. Okay. Now today, what is happening is it's an allegation. So I don't think it is possible. Like in India, typically, see this type of charges keep happening everywhere. Everybody, if anybody gets a contract, the competitor will go and say you bribed X, you bribed Y, therefore you got the contract. So there is no end to these allegations. So until and unless it is finally proved. You are always sort of so much of confusion in the market and so much news happening. I think it's like, except creating negative publicity, it's not helping the matter at all.
And Adani Group have categorically said, and they denied the allegations and will pursue. They said that they will pursue all possible legal recourse to different.
Absolutely. See, because what is happening is, see, as a chairman, see, like let us be honest. Now, as a chairman, what happens? He has to go and meet the chief minister. He has to go and meet so finance minister, X, Y, Z. All these people you have to meet. So if you meet him, it doesn't mean that like he is giving a contract because you are meeting him. So and then putting one and one together and saying no, he went and met. Therefore, you are bribing the government. All these are all it's all assumptions. And see today, like if you really see this whole thing about different governments being involved. What I also found was that, like if you see in that indictment, they are talking about the different state governments, and then they are saying it's at the Indian government level. So they say I think they are confused between the state government and about the federal Union of India. So they are trying to mix up the state governments and the union because none of the state governments report actually. So India is a very different federal system where the state governments don't report to the union government. So they are trying. So there is a lot of prima facie there are errors in the allegation itself. Like when you can't accuse the government of India for something happening in some other state. So these are all issues which will come in any case. See, what is happening is the allegation, even in the 120 paragraphs of allegations, the offense is not committed in the US. The offense is committed in India. The bribery allegation is committed in India. Now the non-disclosure allegation is committed in the US because you are circulating offering memorandum, or you are signing a loan agreement, or you are making an application for a loan in the US. Naturally, that particular document, that offense is committed in the US. So therefore, they are going behind in count 2, 3, 4. They are going behind Mr. Gautam Adani and others on the ground of securities law violation, securities fraud. It is actually they are invoking a rule called as a 10b-5, which is equivalent to the SEBI fraudulent and unfair practices regulations, Mr. Adani and all, for non-disclosure. But then I think it is not so simple to make allegation of fraud, because as you know, so many people are involved, and you see, in a worst case scenario, what will happen? It's a debt or a bond. Okay, no, that has to be repaid. Now, so that is all. It is not an equity issuance, or there is no allegation that these people traded in the market. So or they made personal benefit and all. So therefore, the whole episode has to be looked at in that angle, to say that if it is a issue of securities fraud, then to what extent some of the directors will be directly liable. I think, in my view, is that, so because of this involvement of the top law firms and investment bankers and all, adequate due diligence would have been done, adequate disclosures would have been made. It is for the company now to defend it. And if at all, even beyond, if assuming there is a minor lapse is there. So that is a issue of a failure to supervise, or not that particular, it could be a technical violation. That cannot be a non-disclosure, cannot be a bribery. So you can say that the bribery was not disclosed here. But that time, it's only, even today, it is only an allegation. No actual bribery has been proved anywhere.
But the Adani Group has said that they have disclosed everything to each and every investor in the US. And what are the legal options for Adani Group now? What will be the next step for the group they can take?
See, the next step, my opinion is, my personal view is that, what the company should do, like, because of a lot of this, this sort of atmosphere, ecosystem has created a lot of negativity. If I were to advise the group, I will tell them, you conduct a separate forensic audit, independent audit, to see whether all the process was followed, all the disclosures were made, and also you try to, for instance, this type of allegations can happen. For instance, even assuming at the chairman level somebody is not involved, but somebody down the line is involved in certain misdemeanor or in certain breach. So that is the responsibility of the board of these companies to conduct an independent forensic audit, place it before the board, and that will actually help them to strengthen their sort of defense also subsequently.
Thanks, Ramesh.
Of course, like, in addition to that, they will of course have the right to take whatever legal action, defamation, all those things can happen. But that can happen only when all these things are concluded and they come out clean,
Thanks, Ramesh. Thanks for explaining these things to our
Thank
viewers.
you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.